Today we're going to go through the 7 steps of cleaning a composite deck and go over some tips and tricks on how you can do it efficiently, safely, and effectively. Let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, you've arrived at the customer's house. Now you want to knock on their front door and speak to them about expectations. In this step, we want to make sure that we understand exactly what it is that the customer is trying to get out of this job so that we can meet their expectations. Next, you're going to go around their property, and if they have not moved all of the items that they need to move off of the surface that you're going to clean, make sure that you either move them yourself or ask them to move those items. If you're going to move a customer's items, make sure they understand that you are moving their items, and it's a good idea to take before and after pictures of those items just in case you cause any type of damage, or if they try to say that you did cause damage, you can prove that you did not. The second part is protect their property. So protecting property, what I mean by that is anything that you might trip over, anything that your lines might get in the way, get snagged on, or any sensitive items that they have outside. You want to look around for those things and move them if you can. If you can't move them, identify them so that later on you don't damage them. Or use property protective measures such as using painter's plastic or some type of covering to ensure that they remain safe and well taken care of during the entire process. Last, you're going to want to make sure that you take before pictures. This is both the area that you're cleaning and, like I just said, you want to take pictures of any items that you've moved or manipulated, and that way you can protect yourself if the customer ever comes back and says that you caused damage. You can prove that you did not cause damage. Step 1, clear your surface. That's blowing off any large loose debris and making sure that you plan your route. So planning your route meaning where are your lines going to go, where do you have to access, what type of things might get in your way. Make sure that you have direct access to the surface that you actually need to clean. Step 2 is to lay out your equipment. Laying out your equipment is going to save you time in the long run, and it's going to make things just flow a little bit more smoothly. So when you're laying out your equipment, you want all of the lines that you have to use laid out in a way that they're not going to get tangled during your job, and in a way that causes you to be able to be efficient and go as quickly as possible while getting the job done well. Next, you're going to mix your detergent. For a composite deck, you want about a 1% mix to get started with. So if you have a blend manifold, go ahead and turn your dials to that. If you're doing batch mix, take the time to get your mix to about 1%. This is where I like to start on composite decks. You may have to increase depending on how dirty the surface is, but 1% is a good starting point. One rule that I like to use is using the lowest necessary for the best results. What does the lowest necessary for the best results mean? That means that we're using the least amount of detergent necessary to get the best results. If you use too much detergent, you can damage the surface, so we don't want to do that. But if you use too little, you might not get it clean. So 1% is a good starting point. Then add some surfactant in there. The surfactant's going to help to adhere to that dirt and lift it off of the surface so that you can rinse it all away. I like to add scent. It's not necessary, but I like it. A lot of my customers like having something other than SH to smell when I'm all done with their surfaces. Step 4 is wet down all the plants. You want to look at any area that you're going to get overspray on or drips on. SH is not nice to plants, and we want to make sure that those plants get a good drink of water before we get any type of detergent on them. With this level, the 1% kind of house mix that we're using, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to plants normally, but if you're dealing with a hot day, if the plants have not had water in a while, it can do some pretty significant damage. So make sure that you wet everything down really, really well. More is better when it comes to pre-wetting any of those sensitive plants or sensitive surfaces. Now we're going to apply the detergent. You've already mixed it, you've already wet everything down. Now you're going to apply that detergent evenly across the entire area to be cleaned. You want to make sure that if you're doing deck railings that you get all the different angles. There's a lot of little cracks and crevices and posts and different things where if you don't hit them from multiple angles, you might miss a spot. So make sure to double check all of the angles and get everything coated nicely with your detergent. After you've put your detergent on the surface to be cleaned, you want to let it sit there for its dwell time. For a composite deck, generally I let it dwell for about 10 to 15 minutes, again, depending on how dirty the surface is. For some less soiled surfaces, you can wait a little bit less time. For some really dirty surfaces, you might have to either wait longer or reapply. During the dwell time, that 10 to 15 minutes, this is a good time to walk around and look at your hoses. Make sure that you've got stuff laid out in a way that you're not going to trip over stuff when you go to rinse phase. I like to use this time to reel up my detergent hose, and that will just kind of speed up the cleanup process at the very end of the cleaning. Step 7 is rinse. Rinse, rinse, rinse. It's better to rinse more than not enough. Too much than not enough. You want to re-rinse the plants, you want to re-rinse any sensitive surfaces, and you want to make sure that you've rinsed the entire area to be cleaned. If you're dealing with a composite deck with wide cracks or even just skinny cracks, you want to make sure you rinse those cracks out really well and get all the little bits of debris out of there. I like to use a ball valve. You can also use your pressure washer wand with a 40-degree white tip, and just make sure that you stay far enough away from the surface to where you're not actually applying pressure to the surface. Remember our rule, you want to use the least amount necessary to get the best results. The least amount of pressure necessary to rinse all that stuff off the deck. If you use too much pressure on a composite deck, you will cause damage. And you don't want this because they're very expensive to replace. Okay, so step 7 is rinse, rinse, rinse. More is better. Finally, after you're all done with those 7 steps, it's time to break everything down and clean up. So you want to reel up all of your hoses. You need to make sure that you clear out your detergent lines. You don't want to leave detergent in your lines, even if you're just going from one job to another. It's a really good habit to get into, to clear those out with fresh water. That way, all of your equipment stays in good working order and it doesn't break down as quickly. Don't forget to get your after pictures. You took before pictures before you started. Now you want to get those after pictures for multiple reasons. One, again, we're going to talk about liability. You want to make sure that you have proof that you did not cause any damage during the cleaning process. You also want to have those good before and after pictures that you can provide to your customer, or that you can post on Google, or that you can post on social media across the internet. All right, so we're all done cleaning our surface. We've completed the composite deck. This was 7 steps. If you have any questions about this, or if anything is unclear to you, please leave a comment down below. If this was helpful to you, also leave a comment down below and tell me how this was helpful to you. If you have any questions about equipment, or if you're looking for resources, I'd love to help you out. Please like, share, and subscribe. I've listed some of the items that we use down in the comment section below. They are affiliate links. I will make a little bit of money if you purchase something through those. It will help the channel and help us put out more videos like this to help you build a successful exterior cleaning company. Thank you. Come back for more videos just like this one. Have a great day.